Hello guys, good evening, and thanks for joining us. If I'm audible, if you can hear me, say hi in the chat room. Hello guys, good evening. And thanks for joining us. If I'm audible, if you can hear me, say hi in the chat room. Hello guys, good evening. Okay, so we are waiting for a few others to join so we can start. Alright, so let's just start. Because of the time, I won't be talking much today. I think maybe just for 30 minutes I will speak, and then for the next 30 minutes you will ask your questions. The reason is because the topic we are treating today is very essential. It's something that has to okay, you can hear me. It's something that has to do with the future of QA in general, broad scope, the future of QA, but most importantly the future of manual QA engineers, manual testers. So before I continue, if you have not subscribed to this channel, do well to subscribe. If you're watching now or if you will watch later, please subscribe, watch our videos, like them, add your comments. It's important that we receive your feedback. Thank you so much. All right, going into today's topic, like I said earlier, is broad scope. However, I will try to trim it down as much as possible. So we know that in today's technology world, 2024, technology is evolving. Most essentially, artificial intelligence is evolving. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, process automation, and use of so many automation tools, right? So the world of QA is also evolving as all these technologies are evolving, and people are afraid will AI, will machine, will it replace us, will automation replace manual? Are we to start learning? Is every tester supposed to learn automation right now? When are they supposed to start learning automation? And so many questions. Also for hiring managers, you wonder if you should put your job description for a manual QA. You wonder if you should put automation skill set as a bonus or as an additional what's the name benefit. So a lot of questions is arising in this field. All right, now how do we, or what is the perspective for a manual QA right now? And if you are a starter, or if you are already maybe mid-level and you don't have automation skill set, what is the prospect, right? So let's delve into it. Like I said, I won't be saying much today. I just have a blog I will be looking into, which is like showing the QA trends in 2024. I'm not the one that wrote it. It's just something that I want to share. It's just a disclaimer, just in case. Yeah, this is a disclaimer. I didn't write it. Let me share my screen so we can get started. All right. Can you see my screen? Can you see the browser? If you can, say hi. Okay. Okay, Suleiman, you can see my browser, right? Is it showing? All right. It's because I can see only one here. Let's continue. I will just leave that there like that. Cool. It looks like you can all see my screen. Okay, I get a response. You can see my browser, right? So let's continue. We said I'm sharing a page right now, a web page, which seems to tell us more about the prospect of QA in 2024 and what we have to focus on as QA engineers. So I might just share this link with us after this live. Like I said, just 30 minutes. So here we go. So manual QA, from my experience with hiring managers, you discover that most job descriptions today carries automation skill set, or automation skill set being a bonus, right, to a manual QA job role, right? So if you are a manual QA right now and you're having like 2 years experience, 3 years experience already, I will advise that you start going into what? Automation. And mind you, it is not just automation you need to know. According to this page, you need to know much more than that. The scope is broad now. It's broad scoped. QA is broad scoped now. So talking about continuous integration as a trend, you must be able to know You must be able to understand the software development life cycle of applications, including the QA processes that is involved, including the testing techniques, shift left testing approach to testing. So your testing technique has to be improved. And the word manual, I think, is kind of complicating things. So people being called manual testers, I don't really understand if it is actually manual in the scope of manual. So, but from my understanding, what you're doing as a manual tester is that you're trying to explore an application, and then from there you try to maybe develop test cases, read through requirements, check if the requirements is up to par. You check user customer what was the name, user requirement document. You check for customer needs, and then in the broad scope of business, you check if the application is actually worth it in the long run, right? Those are the things a QA engineer does, right? Now, and much more than that, keywords are being affected by the kind of methodology that is being practiced wherever you find yourself. So we have agile methodology, which is like the real thing in 2024 right now. Some other methodologies are still being used, however they are not as popular as agile. So you may need to understand what DevOps is: development operations. That is from developing a software to testing of the software to deploying them, to maintaining versions, to maintaining releases, to adding features, to maybe some other Git versioning thing, controls and pipelines, and development operations. Everything that covers development operations, you must be able to like understand that, put them in perspective, and be able to implement that in your everyday work life as a QA engineer. So yeah, that is the current trend: shift left testing. QA ops. In those days they talk about full stack engineers or full stack developer. These days we also have full stack QA, right? And apart from full stack QA, we now have QA ops, not just dev ops. So you understand, it's like a QA is right in here as in a center point, and then he has this different attachment, this different string. You're functioning, doubling up as a DevOps engineer, you're doubling up as a developer, doubling up as a product owner, and so on, right? IT security, you have all of that integrated into one. QA ops and AI integration, meaning that right now you need not just the knowledge of this, but you must be able to know how to make use of this in your everyday life. So if you don't have knowledge or capacity in this area, you have to start looking up into this technology. So we have QA ops and AI integration, user experience and security, right? You must know, you must be able to how will I put it now, understand the user needs, and also know how to not just test an application, also foresee the business needs, and also look through the lens of the users in while keeping in mind the security aspect of all these things, right? So yeah, that is what QA entails in 2024. That's what QA entails in 2024. Security is paramount, and you must be able to like know what it entails, know some security tools, know how to check applications for what's the name now, for vulnerability, and so on. So we have number 4, the rise of IoT and RPA challenges in QA trends, right? Yeah, this is really on a rise. IoT, talking about IoT, I think last week I mentioned something about diversification of applications, whereby you have users using the same application on mobile, and we have different kind of mobile these days, on desktop, on different kind of operating systems, on different kind of device specifications, and so on, right? So there is a need to be able to understand these devices and their impact on the software you are testing, on the application under test. So the Internet of Things, and in fact the way you automate the tests that are concerned in these areas is also very important. Robotic process automation is has been in trend for a while now. Yeah, has been in trend for a while now. I mean, since the era of remote work, COVID-19 and all of that, it's been like is in vast, it's in what will I call it now, it's really emerging as a QA trend. So you can focus on this area and try to find a specialization in this area. We also have embracing sustainability and QA engineering as QA trend. I think I mentioned some stuff last week regarding building a career path. Okay, I think I mentioned that later in our chat room, not on live, when we were talking about having a career path as a QA. I mentioned there are at least 3 paths that you can consider: the managerial path, the product pathway, and the technical pathway, right? Whichever area you're focusing on as a QA, you have to understand sustainability. The skills you are learning now, can it sustain you for the next 2-3 years? We know the technology is changing and evolving. Some things that are in vogue yesterday, 2 years ago, are no longer in vogue today, and may not be in vogue next year. So when you want to pick on the skills or area of specialization, whichever area you want to go into, you have to consider sustainability. Alright, especially as you deal with QA trends. Yeah, it's good to know QA trend, but you have to also understand your material, understand which area you can easily function at, and then do what? Specialize on them, build sustainability on them. We have remote collaboration and adaptability. We have cultivating a culture of excellence as a trend. Yes, we mentioned this last week. We said that excellence, being an excellent QA is very essential these days, and it takes more of soft skill to be able to make your hard skills to shine, right? And we said so many things, right? And one of it was communication, right? So you have to cultivate excellence. Putting what we discussed last week into perspective is very essential in 2024. Now, security testing as a priority in QA trends, the rise of machine learning in QA, and so on. Now, my focus for today's discussion not only entails all this list, but in particular I want to focus on the hiring trends for manual QAs in 2024. Now, let me remove this from my screen so that we can focus better. Okay, now the hiring trends in 2024. Have you considered some job posts on LinkedIn? Yeah, when last did you check for a job, and then you look through the job requirements and you feel afraid? You feel like you don't even have up to half of what the job demands, and you probably have work experience 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and then you're feeling like this thing is looking like I may not be able to apply. Give me 2 minutes, I'm checking for something here. I don't know if I can display it. So, but then it happens to everyone. I think it's not just in QA. Technology generally these days, right? When you see a job post and you see the kind of role it is, maybe it's a junior role or a mid-level or a senior role, you know, the next thing you want to check is the job requirements. And when you are checking the job requirements, you want to be sure that you have at least 80% of what is on the list of job requirements, right? Just assume that you apply as a QA engineer, remove the word manual from it. You just apply for a QA engineer role, right? Now, what you expect to see from a QA engineer role, can someone tell me? Just put it in the chat room. What do you think you will see for just a QA engineer role? I think from what I know, I'm supposed to see someone who can collaborate, work with their team, someone who can create test cases, right? Can test applications swiftly and with speed, or has problem solving skill set, and so on. Those are the things that you expect that will be put there in the job role. But what do you see in just a simple QA engineer role today? I will show you one. My search here is just giving me senior role. Okay, I think I've seen one. So when you see, I will just read it out. I won't really show it. I will just read it out. So this job is just a QA engineer job. Remote, whichever one it is. Quality assurance engineer. Okay, I think I've seen an appropriate one now. This is just a QA engineer role, and the experience level is supposed to be 2 years, right? Some of us already have 2 years work experience. So if you have work experience of 2 years, and you are applying as a manual, they didn't even put manual, they just called it, what is the title? Quality assurance engineer, all genders. That is the title of what I can see here, all genders. Now, in the job description, they mentioned API, manual, test case management, test automation. How many years of experience? 2 years. I'm looking at this directly from LinkedIn. This one is not a formulated one. Okay, so what your day look like now? Let me say what they say here. This is how your typical day look like according to the job description. Be an integrated part of an agile software development team. Design and execute manual and automation test cases for web and mobile apps. Analyze and identify presence of any issue or defect in system and assist developers in the validation and resolving of issues and defects. Perform functional, regression and exploratory testing. Proactively raise potential issues and problems and bring them to the attention of the team. Participate and contribute in feature planning. Now, that is how your typical day look like for this job role. Now for requirement for job requirement, experience, they said you need to have 2 years of proven experience in the field of software quality assurance in an agile environment. Problem solving, you are out of the box thinker with strong analytical, diagnostic and problem solving skills. Manual testing, you have good understanding of QA processes. You are familiar with test case management tools, API testing tools, and have basic SQL knowledge. Automation, you have good programming skills, JavaScript or TypeScript in brackets, and experience with an automation framework. Example, Cypress, Playwright, Selenium, Appium. User perspective, you are able to look at things from a user perspective and you have an eye for detail. Excellent communications, you are fluent in English and you can clearly communicate any issues and give status reports. Self-drive, you are an independent, fast-learning self-starter who want to be part of a flourishing, curious, innovative organization. Growth-oriented, you are self-aware, proactively seek feedback and all of that. Now look at all these that I list here. This is impressive. Why? Because the role they are looking for here is more like a junior role. It's not even a mid-level. It's a 2 years experience that is needed, and yet we have all of this on the list. What should I tell you? Go back to our web page that we talked about the other time. What we need in a 2024 QA engineer is what? All of this. So there is nothing like manual QA anymore. My opinion. Some other people still think that there's manual QA. No. For me, there's really nothing like manual QA. Even there's really nothing like automation. Right? So, because what you are doing in automation is just to ensure that your work has speed, is effective, is efficient, your test cases are accurate, they are efficient, you reduce time to market and all of that. They are still the same test cases. If you were to run them manually, you will still be running those test cases, right? So, but you are trying to automate to what? To reduce effort, to reduce time, to increase efficiency, to increase effectiveness, to save time, to ensure result accuracy, and a lot of other benefits of what? Of automation. So what we are assuming as job recruiters this day is that whether you are just starting up or you already have experience mid-level, you must be able to have automation skill sets. All right, so I've read it out live and direct from a job portal right now. A job role, just a QA engineer role that requires just 2 years experience, and they demand what? Both manual, automation, problem solving skill set, communication skill set, and so on, right? So yeah, that is what the job market demands in 2024. So what I can advise you to do, number one, find your niche. What level are you now? Assess your level. Assess your level right now. Know what you know and what you don't know. Don't deceive yourself. Nothing like self-deceit. Assess your level. When you're done with assessing your level, try to classify yourself to the category of junior, mid-level, senior. What level do you belong to in the scope of things? Now, if you're able to classify yourself as a junior role, probably, I think junior roles are between 2 to 3 or so. Then mid-level 3 to 5 or so. Then senior from 5 upwards. Now, looking at this, classifying it based on number of your years of experience, you're probably able to know where you belong, and also looking at the kind of skills you have right now, you can judge what level you belong to. Now, look out for tools or programming languages or areas in which you think that you can be effective. When you have done looking into those areas, now start up with the easiest part of it. Okay, there is API automation. Why not start up with that? There is a tool that you can use to record and play. Why not start up with that? And if you want to start up with programming language, then you probably enroll online or do any of our trainings. By the way, we are starting an automation bootcamp next year, 2024, and it's going to be really interesting early next year. So if you want to join that bootcamp, then you're better prepared, because you are not going to join based on I'm interested. You're going to join based on a qualifying test, because we only want serious people. Because one thing I discovered is when you are not serious, you can easily drop out of this thing, right? So how interested, how focused are you right now? And when you're learning this, it is to what purpose? Is it that you want to change your job? You want a raise? You want a promotion? You must have a goal. You must have something you are focusing on. If you're not focusing on something, you can be easily discouraged. You might stop halfway, and a lot of things can happen without a proper goal set. It's a set goal. All right, so have something that you are looking up to as a drive for you, right? Because you need to be driven to be able to like add all of these skill sets, update yourself. And now another thing I will advise you to do, even when you are not looking for another job, try as much as possible to go through jobs and their job description on job portals. So sometimes I just go through these things to see what is my level, what do I know, what do I not know. All right, so just to assess your level, right, go through them, see what's next, see what is the next level of learning that you need to acquire, right? And sometimes you take up a job role, and even though you know you need money and some other basic things of life, but you still take up those roles just because of the kind of experience you think you will get from there, right? So these are important decisions that you need to make in 2024 that is going to enhance your that's going to help your career path, that will enhance your skill set, and will make you more marketable, more fit for the 2024 QA job market. So yeah, that is all for today. I can see questions in the chat room. How many companies in Nigeria practices automation? Well, I'm not sure I have answers to that, but I know a number of companies that already practice automation, right? Especially API automation. That one is very rampant. But as for maybe UI automation, mobile automation, they are not as rampant as API automation as far as I know. and most companies in Nigeria, I think, we want to hire an SDET or an automation engineer solely for that purpose. Like they want them to specialize solely in that area. But we know there are hybrid roles these days, whereby you function as both the automation, test automation engineer, and also as the other areas, manual and others. So yeah, most companies in Nigeria, as far as I know, want to just separate the concerns, separate the roles, separate the specialties, right? However, whichever role you are right now, it's never too late to develop a skill, to acquire a skill right now. And when you think you are efficient enough in that skill, you can try practicing it even where you are. And if there is no support to practicing it where you are, then you might think of changing jobs and all of that. But it's better to start first. Practice on the life project you're working on, and then eventually you'll be good to go. Somebody said all these requirements on top of how much. I'm not even sure I checked the amount, but I certainly know it's a junior QA role, right? Some of us, I don't know if all of us were here when I was reading out this particular job description and what is put there. In a junior QA role, however, it has all of this list that I mentioned, right? 2 years experience is a junior QA role. Do you mean API testing using Postman is API automation? When you make use of scripting in Postman to automate your test script, and you automate your collection using this scripting, then it is API automation. Anything you do to improve the effectiveness of your test cases is automation. And we have different libraries for automation in API. I think Postman has his own library too. And of course, you can use other frameworks like Chai framework, assertions, and all of that, JavaScript stuff, to write tests on Postman and automate it. So yeah, it is automation. Yes. Running API collection with Newman is also test automation. Yes, it is also test automation. Is it possible to be an automation tester without helping in manual rules? Is it possible to be an automation? Yes, you can be an automation tester without helping in manual rules. However, for you to automate any application, most of the time you need to check how it behaves manually, because you need to see the expected result and the actual result. This is the expected result, this is how it should behave. Now, what is the actual result? Then you go, you check, right? And then you come back and then you write your codes. And then when you run or you execute this test, if the result you are getting is not what it should be, then you have to rewrite your codes again, right? So yeah, that is how it works. So if there are roles that are just test automation roles, it's possible that you don't help other manual testers in testing, feature testing, and all of that. However, whatever you are automating to, you still have to check them against requirements, check them against expected results, check them against business use cases, and so on, right? Is it possible to be an automation tester? Okay, yeah, I think I've gone through all of these questions. As you can see, We need, I will say we need to sit upright, uptight in the QA field as it is right now, right? We have a lot to do. We have a lot to cover. Yeah, all right. There is test ops now. There is a full stack and testers now. There is SDET now. That one has been existing for a while now, Abi. There is test automation engineer, Abi. And there is a QA engineer. So those roles are evolving, and requirements, demands on QA is what is increasing. So right now, all we know is that if you want to start, number one, start from where you are right now. Like I said, assess your level sincerely. No hype. Nobody needs to hype you. You don't need to hype yourself. Assess your level sincerely. Look for a point where you can start from. All right. Also find a niche, something that you can easily absorb, an area you can easily absorb into you, that it will not be difficult. You won't get discouraged and then maybe stop halfway or throw it out, right? So let's start from there. QA engineer uses somebody said recruiters are gradually turning QAs to developer. Of course, when they put a requirement as programming language, I read it out the other time. Imagine a 2 years experience that is demanding for SQL knowledge, API knowledge, automation knowledge, and under automation they even put it there: JavaScript or TypeScript, Selenium, Appium, Cypress, and other automation framework. Just so you know, mentioning all of that makes you a developer already, because in automation you are writing codes. All right. So if part of being an excellent QA that we discussed last week, we said language. All right, programming language is part of the technical skill set. So yeah, a QA engineer nowadays is a developer, doubles up as a developer, doubles up as a product owner, doubles up as a DevOps engineer. All right, doubles up as a delivery engineer, doubles up as what else? Name it. Right. Someone says QA engineer uses more tools than developers. Still, our pay is low. I don't think our pay is low. I don't think so. Maybe you are saying that because of the region you belong to. Because I think pay is done according to countries, working laws, job laws, and all of that. So if there is a certain rule to the amount you're supposed to get in a particular country, then perhaps they might stick to that rule. And also you must know that your level of experience also contributes to this salary of a thing. So yeah, no, QA testers are not being paid lesser than developers. Is a no. It's not true. You will be paid according to your skill level, according to your experience, according to your bargaining, according to the country where you work from, according to your workers rules in where you work, and all of that, according to your company culture. A lot of things influence this, right? So yeah, I love to use Appium, Selenium. Okay, so if you want to start with Appium, I would advise you to start with Appium though. I know what I'm saying. However, I think we have a course on this channel that talks about starting up with Appium. So yeah, maybe you can start up with it. If you can start up with that, then you gradually move into it fully. Like I said, we'll be having an automation boot camp early next year. and we are not going to admit people based on interest. We are going to admit people based on the passion, the effort they put into it, their qualifying score, right? So yeah, if a company needs a QA engineer, what do they actually need? Because they don't request for manual role or automation role during interview. So what role is the people needing in essence, please? If a company needs a QA engineer, what do they actually need? Because they don't request for manual role. Well, I said it the other time. The role I read out to you is just a QA engineer role. The title of the role is what? Quality assurance engineer. So, and then under every job role, you will see the job description. So under it, they will tell you what they need. Here on the requirement I read out, they actually mentioned manual testing, and they also mentioned automation testing. So yeah, they will put it there. They will put it. If they require manual role for it, they will put it there. If they require automation for that role, they will put it there in the job description. So when you prepare for your interview, you don't just prepare based on this is what I know. You prepare based on what the job wants, what your recruiter wants, the job requirements. That's what you prepare based on. All right. I don't use any of the framework during my test. I only use Newman to run collections with Postman. I'm also okay. Yeah. Newman helps to what's the name now? To run your collection and to also graphically make it visible, like you can actually see failed test and passed test and all those stuff. But that is not the only thing you need to do in API automation, especially if you are working with Postman, right? The fact that each of your test cases, for every of your endpoints, you write a code to automatically check for some values, for schema, for anything there, means that you are automating it. You want to you want to like create new resource, do different posts, and you are not just doing them manually, like going to each endpoint and clicking post, and then it will just create just one for you. But you are writing a set of course that will create 10, 15, 20, you know, and dynamically like authenticate for you and all of that. There's a scripting part on Postman, I know, I think under test, that you can actually write your codes, all right, and you can use that to run every of your test cases. So that is the automation part of Postman. It is not just using Newman. Okay, getting manual jobs remotely outside Nigeria seems impossible. Why and what can be done to improve remote jobs outside of the country? It is not impossible. That's the first thing I will say, because there are people in Nigeria doing remote jobs. That's one. That's even QA engineers. And two, like I said, we have a lot of work to do. Last week I said prioritize references above noisemaker. I know why I said so. Sometimes you feel you have some skill set, and when you get some job roles, you are going to do very well, extremely well, great, and all of that, only for you to get hands-on those jobs, and then you're like, can I really do this? It happens to every one of us, and that is why you need to every day improve your skill set. cultivate it, improve it, challenge yourself. All right. Now, the only way possible, number one, is to first develop year or years of experience. Whichever job you have in your hands right now, work hard at it. Add skill sets to improve that application you are testing. It does not matter where you are right now. What matters right now is that you are adding values to yourself right there. And who knows, by the time you are done, maybe you have used 1 year, 2 years in that particular place where you are, and you want to now consider a change of job, you will be so amazed at the kind of job opportunities that will come your doorstep, and how well you will do in those interviews. Why? Because you have taken time. Why? Because you have taken time to improve yourself. You have taken time to learn on the job. You have taken time to learn some skill sets, and now it is time to fly. So work on yourself, improve your skill sets, maximize your potential wherever you are right now, and then from there scale up. So that's what I will say. And as for remote jobs, I'm sure there are remote jobs. In fact, there are I think Andela is still there in Nigeria, right? So, but you know, Andela is for people that are like experts. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that develop yourself, have some experience, and that doesn't mean that you can't take their test anyway. Go on HackerRank, take tests, see how well you will perform. Coding test, coding challenge, hands-on tests, and all of that, right? Do practical stuffs and see how well you will perform, right? So someone says, for me, automation during interview are just for asking sick. All the places I work during interview, automation have been asked, but till date they are not using any of it. Well, it's so very true. I know some recruiters just put it there so that they can shovel or what will I call it now, sieve out the numbers of what's the name now, of applications that they get. For them, is a kind of keyword that will help them filter it out, filter what they want and what they don't want. So they just put it there. It's not because the job owner, not because that company, not because they have the resources on ground for automation. All they are doing is they just want somebody that is close to automation, not like doing automation. So there are jobs like that, there are job description like that. But I will tell you something: if you are going for any job interview, ensure that you are 80% qualified, please. And then some people say 60. No, don't settle for 60. Ensure you are 80% qualified on that list. If they put automation is an advantage, it means that you can apply whether you are qualified for automation or not. But if they say automation and specifically require certain things there, then you know that somehow you need to have it. And if sometimes if the job is just for you to know, to learn, if the interview is for you to just learn, not like you really need the job, then of course you can attend the interview even if you have 60% or 70% experience or something with the job requirements, right? So yeah, sometimes you do interview just because you want to assess your level. It's possible. But if it is because you really need the job, then it's good to at least have 80% of the qualifications that is required of you. Yeah, because your recruiters will not be by the time, because you're not the only one. They probably have very, very good people that has also applied. So, and they will be looking at all of that. Mind you, we've already talked about communication too, and your confidence level in interviews. Confidence level is important too, right? And when you don't know something, you say you don't know. I mean, is a very, if we are to talk about taking interviews, I mean, it's something that we can keep talking about. Maybe we should also consider taking interview topics, right? We can look into that in the coming week, right? Interview topics. So yeah, guys, these are all the topics we have. Can you drop the link to the site? Yes, I can drop the link to the site. The site I shared the other time about the demand, what is being demanded of a QA, what is being required of a QA in 2024, right? So that is what is being required from us in 2024. We need to work, like really put in more effort, because we are specialists. Yes, you are developer, you're QA, you're DevOps, you know the product in and out, you can communicate and receive feedback and all of that, and even the business aspect, you know all of that. So those are the things that is being demanded of us in 2024. And recruiters sometimes just put it there for filtering sake. Some companies or job owners put them there because they actually need them. They need those skills. So you can never tell which one. Just be prepared. Okay. So yeah, practically I read out a requirement the other time. Don't worry, I will send the link to the requirements on our WhatsApp page as soon as we are done with this call. To the requirement I read out just now, the one with 2 years experience and just a quality assurance engineer role, QA engineer role, I will send us the link so you can go through it yourself and ascertain your level. Okay. Yeah, someone said where. Okay, when I said, for those of us that are not on our WhatsApp community page, I guess we might need to drop it on YouTube for you. Okay, so I will drop it. I will find a way to drop it to attach it to this video. So don't worry, 2 links. The first one is that blog post, and the second one is the job requirement that I read out for us. With 2 links. All right, thank you all so much for joining in today. It's been amazing. You guys have been amazing. I think there were a lot of questions today, even much more than last week. It's impressive to know that the world of QA engineering is fast changing, and we need to move very fast with it. The same thing I'm telling you, I'm telling myself. I need to really move very fast with this evolving technology so that we are not left behind, so that we are not caught on our ears, right? We need to improve our skills daily. All right. Yeah, so thank you all for joining. By the way, this is how we'll be having our live every week till November 23rd. Don't forget, November 23rd we'll be having our live event. Now we have a complete list of our guest speakers. Trust me, they are preparing for us. The topics they will be taking is hot, and you don't want to miss it. And you don't want to meet the network of other software engineers, QA engineers. We have on that list, we have company CEO, we have product managers, we have test managers, and then we have QA engineers. So that list is like the ultimate, right? So you don't want to miss out. So thank you all for joining. If you have not registered, please register on our LinkedIn page. It is QAFit.io. So you see the link to register, and see you again next week. We'll be talking about a different topic next week, and we'll post that during the week. Thank you all. Bye bye.